Hello, everybody. Welcome to, what day is it? 13th, right?
Yeah.
November 13th, Lunch with the Mayor. I'm Mayor Ryan Daniel here in the city of Columbia City, and I have a special guest today, which we'll get to here in a moment. But want to welcome everybody on as normal. If you have questions or thoughts or comments regarding the city or any other issues, feel free to put them in the chat, assuming that you're watching on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to send us an email at rdaniel@columbiacity.net, or you can call my office at 260-248-5111. So with that, we will dive in. I have Bailey Glass here with Youth for Christ, who is a really active member in our community. Actually also serves on our steering committee for our comprehensive plan, so appreciate your service on that. But we'll go ahead and get started with the softball of all softballs. Tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself. Tell me who you are.
Bailey Glass. I am a resident of Columbia City. I bought my house in December 2021, and I love it here. This is definitely my town. So we moved down here from Wisconsin in 2009 and came to Columbia City, and that was my dad's a General Motors guy, so this was the place that we landed, like a lot of other guys did.
Okay.
And quickly became home. So I love this place, and it's the community that raised me, which is part of why I do what I do today.
Yeah.
I live with my dog, and she's my best friend, and so we definitely use the park a lot and the trail system, and we have like a routine and pickleball and all the things. So
what kind of dog?
Golden Retriever.
Golden Retriever.
Yeah.
Some of the most loyal of all
she's
dogs.
very loyal.
Yes.
Yeah, I am her person.
I gotcha.
Makes
She
it
your guard
hard
dog? She your guard dog?
She tries to be.
Or are you her guard dog?
Probably both.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's got a really big bark, and I think she thinks the whole neighborhood is hers.
Ah.
And so I'm like, Willow, people can live their lives.
Yes.
That is something they're allowed to do.
Yes. So you've seen the movie Bolt?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
she's Bolt, where she has a super bark and can protect the whole community.
Yeah, but I don't know if she'd ever do anything.
So, okay.
So I think
a lot of bark, not a lot of bite.
No,
sounds
no,
like.
for
Okay,
sure.
Very good. Very good. Well, so as I mentioned in the introduction, you are involved in Youth for Christ of Northern Indiana, and we'll talk a little bit about why I have you on here in November here in a little bit. But you want to talk a little bit about that organization, Youth for Christ of Northern Indiana. and kind of why you're passionate about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the community that invested so much into me as a young person. I remember, there's like mess in my life and obviously hard things that I went through, but a community that just like embraced me so much, especially after we moved down here and was like, man, where do I fit in? What's my community look like? I have a twin sister, and so there's always kind of been this, who am I apart from, having a twin? There's kind of this, you have to, there's a conversion point where you're like, okay, this is who I am, this is who she is, and there's overlap.
Yes.
And I just remember just feeling so loved and just cared for, and teachers and youth leaders in my life, and just so many people and coaches who just poured into me. And so part of it was when I had this opportunity to come back to this community, it was a no-brainer that I wanted to pour into the people that were like me, right, and the young people that I once was. And it was kind of a way for me to say thank you, I think, to the community of, hey, you guys love me well, and so I want to love this community and its young people. So, but yeah, Youth for Christ has been around for 75 years next year, and so for Northern Indiana, so we're one of the longest serving chapters. We're actually international, which is really cool, and so I've been able to go internationally and meet other people from all over the world, which was so fun and one of my favorite experiences ever. But our U.S. chapter has all over the country, and in Northern Indiana we serve about 13 counties, and we have Campus Life, which is kind of what I do here in Columbia City. That's like our kind of program side of it, but also City Life, which serves in Southside and Wayne and other Fort Wayne communities. And then we have Juvenile Justice Ministry, which serves in ACJC, which is the Juvenile Center. And so we try to serve kids of all different stories and walks of life, and no matter where they're at. So
what does service mean? You're serving students, and what does that mean? So our goal is to go where kids are. So Youth for Christ, what's in the name, so we are a faith-based organization, but we really want to help kids live a balanced life, so spiritually, but also physically, emotionally, and relationally. And so we really value producing as best as we can and coming alongside a community to raise up really just strong citizens, kids who can become successful adults, kids who are grounded and just have a lot of a good foundation underneath them. And so that's part of my story, is that I had a really good foundation put under me where I felt equipped and loved and able to do what I do. But a lot of it is going into the school, going to events, going to things that kids are a part of. And so that I think sounds like, what's that mean? Where are you going? And so, we're at practices sometimes, but we're also just at games and plays. And so I was at the play this past weekend, and it was really good. And so I'm smiling the whole time, and then they get up to bow, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're just so creative and talented. So I'm about crying, and I just love them so much. Emotionally take you over.
Oh, yeah, they're just so creative and talented, and so it's cool to be a part of students' lives. But we really want to see them blossom into who I believe that God has called them to be, and so it's a gift to be on the front line of that. And so we have a whole team of leaders who come alongside it, so it's not just me. And that's a gift, because there's a lot of kids in this community to love, and
growing.
And growing.
Yes.
And so often, and we've seen that. So we do a Monday night program, and when kids come through the door, I'm like, I have never seen you before, but I'm so glad you're here. And so now it's like, okay, who are you? How do I know you? What's your connection? And so it's been great to just get to know new kids.
That's awesome. Well, I know when I was in high school specifically that there was a youth leader, let's say, from Youth for Christ that was impactful in my life as well. And so it's cool to see, here 20 some years later that that's still not only going, but it seems like it's really doing well and thriving.
It's been fun.
That's fantastic. So let's maybe take a step back here. You talked a little bit about it, but I want to really hit home on what is Youth for Christ? How was it founded? What's the purpose of it? You kind of talked a little bit about that. But how is Youth for Christ funded? All that kind of background information on the organization.
So we're a nonprofit, and so we're all grant and donor funded, and so we work with the Community Foundation and also just some other grant run organizations, but which is a huge gift. But then we also do some self fundraising too. So through our community and just through people that we know. We have our We Believe in Youth campaign coming up, which is a big support of that. But we also do golf outings and different events throughout the year to support our mission. So, and what I love about that is it's a whole community investment, right? And so it's people believing in us, that way we can believe in our young people and vice versa. And so it's a community effort that says, not only during We Believe in Youth Week, but as a whole all year round, our thing is that we're in this together. And so we want to be a partner organization. parachurch is kind of the word that we use, and so we come alongside other areas where we're like, hey, we have the same mission and the same heartbeat and the same goal. How can we support?
Yeah.
And also, what are some ways that we can lead and resource and equip where we see there are needs?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, we want to just continue to partner in our community.
So where are these activities happening in our community?
Yeah. So a lot of what we do is like we go to where students are. So it could be spontaneous. So it could be, hey, we're going to a game and we're bringing students with us. So we're on the school campus, hence the name Campus Life.
Yep.
But the other part of it is we have one kind of main programming night, and that's Monday evenings. And we actually partner with the center for that. So we use their space and also share some leaders.
Yep.
And that's been actually really cool. One, I think it displays unity in our community that we're in this together. But it's also meant that we can split resources, and that's always helpful too. But yes, that's kind of our one for any high schooler in Columbia City. And we also take kids from Buska or Whitco or from other areas who need a place to hang out. And so we welcome them in, and we do food, we play games, we have free time, and we just connect with students. We have a message, and we talk about real life issues and what we believe God has to say about it, to try to give some kids some hope, some direction, some peace. And then we have small groups, and that's really their time to be heard and seen, and to share what's going on in their lives.
I think from a, whether you're, we'll say religious person or not, I think that the cool thing about the organization is that you are looking at the whole person, right?
Yeah.
You are looking at how with teens having so many pressures on them now, especially. I mean, again, I think about. And you're a lot younger than I am, but I think about how it was, for lack of a better word, simpler and easier for me as a teenager because I didn't have the pressures of social media. We didn't have, if you were a little more affluent, I guess, you probably had lots of different TV channels and had lots of media in that regard, but the social media just adds a completely new layer that, frankly, a lot of adults can't even cope with, let alone teenagers whose brains are still forming and all that kind of stuff. So I think that kind of holistic approach is really cool.
We talk about mental health. We also talk about kind of the things that maybe kids are afraid to talk about. And so whether that's identity struggles or struggles around just kind of the pressures of this world and helping them give voice to that, so that way we can help provide some direction, because a lot of spaces it's like, man, I have questions, but where do I go?
Sure.
And so we want to be that safe space, and so that's something we talk about often of like, if there's any place you guys can be real and honest, it's here. Regardless of where you come from or what you believe.
Well, and I think you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but there is partnership with the center. But obviously, I think it would be easy for a resident who doesn't have a teenager or isn't involved in that to say, oh, well, the Center and Youth for Christ are the same thing, but they're not.
Sure.
So kind of, can you give a little bit of differentiation there?
And so, the center does great work, and YFC does great work, and where there's overlap, but there's also differences. And so our goal at Youth for Christ is it's in our name, is that we want young people to come to know Jesus, because we believe that's the ultimate answer for a lot of life's problems. But also with that, our goal is primarily relationship based. And so we have kind of one main programming, but 90% of what we do is relationship building and relationship, whether that's meeting students, whether that's growing in the struggles that they're facing in mentorship, right? And so meeting with them one-on-one or in small groups. A lot of what we do is outside of a program. And so that's kind of a distinction that we have. And we do something called 3-Story. And so our main focus is this idea of, we want to know what your story is. We'll share ours. We want you to be honest about yours. And we're going to talk about what God's story is and what we believe that can do in your life and what it's done in ours.
So I know that, anytime you're working with youth, right, teenagers on down, anytime you're working with youth, obviously there's a real careful line you have to walk. Certainly there's parental responsibility and, parental control in that regard, but there's also that, hey, if things are happening at home that should not be happening, there's a responsibility you have. So I'm sure that's a really hard burden to handle and hold.
I think some people will be surprised how much I know. Sometimes I'm like, I know a lot about what's happening in kids' lives,
Yes,
right? And so, so there's the line of, I mean, we're one of the safest organizations as far as our background checks are very extensive. And so, and we meet in public places with kids. And so we try to do our best to live a life of integrity, right?
Sure.
And so, like, we want to be like, hey, you can 100% trust us with your kids, right?
Yep.
And so we wear that badge of honor proudly, and we really try to carry ourselves well in that. But yeah, there's a lot of weight of, you hear hard stuff, right, in abuse and neglect, but also just general suffering and struggles. And so I actually just started therapy back because I was like, I need a place to talk about all this, right? Because I'm kind of being trauma dumped on a lot. Because a lot of what we do is we just listen. We try to listen well, because more than anything, I think what kids need now is someplace that they can be real, because you can only be so honest on your Instagram stories. And you really do present like your highlight reel of your life, right? And sometimes even you presenting your like faults or your flaws feels sometimes even disingenuous, because it's like, maybe I want to get someone to notice me, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm here and I'm just ready to listen, and so whatever you want to share, we're ready. And we don't always have the answers. Like, there's a lot of times where it's like, I don't know what to do about that, and I'm so sorry.
I'm really sorry.
But like, I'm here, right? And I know God's here too.
Well, so I think that's probably a really good segue into the We Believe in Youth initiative. And so, talk a little bit about what that is, why John Q. Citizen would care about the We Believe in Youth initiative, and kind of why it's important today.
This is our 6th year doing it. It came out of a pivot with COVID, and I know we're kind of past all that, but this idea of...
You would think we are,
but
but there's so many ramifications of that. But yes, I get you.
This idea of, hey, we can't connect as in person with kids, right? But what would it look like if we can commission our community to connect with the kids they're in relationships with right now? And so, I mean, that's anywhere from any young person you know. So whether it's a student in your classroom, whether it's a grandkid, your next door neighbor, right? Kids that you're just meeting along the way, right? This idea, what would it look like if our entire community came alongside its young people? And my dream is for that to be every day, but what would it look like for us to do that all together for 1 week? And so that's where We Believe in Youth was born. And so this idea of, it's a campaign, there's financial aspect of it, and so that is a portion of how we raise our funds, but also the main idea and my heartbeat behind it is really that all of Columbia City bands together, right, comes together, right, to support its young people. And so this idea of, I see you, you're known, and I love you and believe in you. And those words, even if you say nothing else, are incredibly powerful to young people, because a lot of what they hear is not that, and a lot of what they believe about themselves is not that. And so if we can break down those lies and replace them with truth, that you are seen, known, loved, and believed in, that has immense value.
So as always, if you have if you're watching this on the live stream and you have questions, please feel free to put those in the chat. I'd be happy to look through those and ask them. But I want to maybe hit a little bit more on what you just said and just have a better understanding. And that is, so when you talk about coming around the child, right, like or around those teenagers and our youth individuals, kind of the holistic part of the community. You know, there's a lot of, obviously there's individualized needs that every student has. There's the emotional needs and certainly the mental needs and all those kind of things. But in a perfect world, okay, let's put on our utopian hat for a moment. What does that look like if Columbia City were to say, we're going to take this really, really seriously and we're going to come around these youth and really believe in them? What does that look like in your utopian world, let's say?
Yeah, I think one of the things is the gift of time and connection. And I think sometimes that feels like, man, I don't have space to give. And I understand we're busy. I get that. Something that I would really like to shift our mindset to is, it's not adding more, but it's being intentional where you are. And so, hey, you're already going to a sporting event to support your kid. What would it look like if you also spoke life into the other young people on that team, right? What if you challenged your young person to be extra kind if they're on the bench that night, right? What would it look like to even show hospitality to your neighbor, right? And the people that are literally in your neighborhood, and be super intentional with them, right? And so I think, sometimes I think we think, man, I don't have room to do one more thing. That's too much, right? But to love the young people that are already in your sphere, I think that's an opportunity that we all can do and be a part of. And so, that would be, I think, my challenge is, who can I identify that I already have the opportunity to speak life into, right? To encourage, to uplift. Let me be intentional about that. And so I think it's having open eyes, right? And asking for opportunities. And I think God's really faithful and has given me those opportunities, but I think he also really wants all of us to be a part of And I would love that invitation for all of us to be a part of loving our young people.
So I think, what I definitely am hearing from you, and I think what maybe is a takeaway is and again, because I'm government, I have to, be who I am. But I think what's so neat about that concept and that idea is that you don't have to be a religious person. You don't have to be someone who's a Christian or a Buddhist or a Muslim or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, anybody can be intentional about the way in which we treat and react and invest in our youth. Because at the end of the day, and this is a thing that I'm always reminded of when I'm with my youth council and when I'm reading to kids and all those kind of things that I do as mayor, is that, like, those individuals will be our citizens someday.
Yeah.
And, like, those individuals, somebody in there may be the next mayor. Some individuals may be the next city council, or maybe the next prominent, not prominent, but could be the next bank president or small downtown shop owner or doctor or whatever, right? And so, like, how we invest in our students now and how we invest in their lives to give them the confidence they need to trudge through the world and things like that, like, that will make a difference and pay, like, extraordinary dividends long term.
Yeah, I mean, every year at this time I look back and I'm like, man, what that person said was so immensely powerful in my life and shaped the future, even though I didn't know it then, right? Yeah. And so, no matter where you come from or your backgrounds, I think we can all agree our words have power and significance, right? Yes. Especially when they're delivered face to face or a card, right? Anything beyond, like, text or social media, though that's, like, has some value, it's so important for kids to hear genuinely from you of, like, this is what I see. And so when we can take our time out of our day to say it, even if it's 5 seconds of I believe in you because, that has immense value long term, even if you don't see the fruit of it now.
And I again, another thing that you hit on there that is a bit of a lost art now is letters, is handwritten letters, right? Like, and I'll be the first one to say I'm guilty of that a lot because it's just easier to type out an email and send it, right? But I will say there is a lot. Just, you can't see it on camera, but right over here there's 2 little bins full of handwritten letters and things like that are special and made a difference, in my time here as mayor. And I'm sure those handwritten letters make a tremendous difference in the outlook and the thinking and the emotional connectivity of those students.
Yeah, I mean, I've saved nearly every card I've gotten, even if it's just like a couple lines, right? And kids actually love to receive a card because it feels like fun for them when they get something in the mail, but also when they receive something. So it is worth it. Yes. It's worth using your postage for, I promise you that.
Yeah. So here's your challenge. If you're watching this, I want to encourage you to find 3 to 5 youth members in this month of November and write them a handwritten card of encouragement or a little note or something thanking them for something that maybe they've done or who they are or something like that. I think that would be really cool to see. I mean, if we could even get a quarter of our population to do 3 I'm going to start doing math really quick here. So if we were to get, let's say, give or take, 2,500 individuals, because we have 10,000 population, so this is really easy math, right? 2,500 individuals to send 3 cards, you're looking at 7,500 cards?
A little more than that.
A little more than that? Yeah. I don't know. Anyways,
more
than that. So we can't do math. But anyways, point of the matter is the impact that would have is really exponential, right? Yeah. Like, taking the time to do those little things, to say, hey, how are you, but actually mean it. That is, one thing I've always thought highly of our community is that I think a lot of times we can get into that rush of just, hey, let's get it done and that kind of stuff. But I do feel like we still have some of those general tenets of a smaller community that is caring, right? Like, I say it all the time, but the basket of cookies or the tin of cookies when somebody moves in, or the, hey neighbor, how are you, welcome to the neighborhood. Those little things set us apart from other communities. And so when it comes to our youth, having the opportunity to set ourselves apart so that those students, potentially leave, maybe come back, maybe stay in this community, they're doing that knowing that the community is behind them and that they're supported and that people love them, right?
Yep, and there's no shortage of adults that can be a part of this,
Sure.
right? I think when I was in high school, the statistics were 3 to 5 outside of your parents that you needed consistent caring adults in your life, and now that's closer to 5 to 7.
Okay.
And so there's, as many people as we can have telling our young people what we see in them,
Yes.
the truth, right, is important and significant.
Yeah, and you think about a lot of them are probably on social media, I don't know, 9 hours a day,
Yeah.
probably. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like,
Yeah.
probably not that much when they're in
But-
school, but
yeah.
I bet you at least 3 to 4 hours a day
For
they're on
sure.
social media easy.
Yeah.
Right? And so to combat that
Yep.
maybe negativity or whatever they're seeing there,
Yep.
not that all social media is bad, but it can be. So anything else we need to know about We Believe in Youth?
Yeah, I mean, it starts this next week, so the 17th
Okay.
through the 21st
Okay.
is kind of our main campaign week.
Okay.
But obviously, this idea is that this continues year round.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, man, I forgot to get a card out by the 21st, not a problem, send one out still. I'll
Yeah.
actually put some stuff up at Brewhouse, that way
Okay.
people can have cards and card prompts and
Yeah.
kind of have, hey, how can I be involved?
Sure.
Just to make it easier on people.
Okay, so then if people want more information about either the We Believe in Youth initiative or Youth for Christ, who do they contact? How do they get a hold of somebody? Is there a website? Those kind of things.
Yeah, our website is YFCNIN, so Youth for Christ NorthernIndiana.org.
Okay.
So that's the best place to go for like general information. But for We Believe in Youth, WBIY, WeBelieveInYouth.org will take you there.
Gotcha.
So that's the easiest way to learn about those things. We also have an Instagram. And so, yeah, CCHS Campus Life. So if your young person's wanting to get involved, if you're like, as a parent, I want my young person to get involved.
Yeah.
You can reach out and DM our account there, and that'll also get you all my information as well. So-
Gotcha. Okay, so if there's a student, or I'm sorry, if there is somebody watching out there, parent, somebody that wants to get involved, wants to be, volunteering, wants to be, a little more active than
Yeah.
just, hey, I'll write a couple of handheld
Yeah.
cards kind of things. Obviously, I know there's a process to make sure everybody's
Yep.
safe, but is that just contact a you thing, or?
Yeah, you can get a hold of me, and so I can give anyone my number or whatever too. I don't mind giving it here, but my information is very much available on the website
Yes,
and
yes,
on the
okay,
interweb. So.
okay, and the website one more time was?
Yeah, YFCNIN.org.
Youth for Christ, Northern Indiana.
Yep.
YFCNIN.org.
Org. Yep.
Org. Very good. Anything else individuals need to know, or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, we just want to come alongside our young people, and they're facing so many problems, right? Like that's not up for discussion. I think we realize like our youth are not necessarily always in crisis, but are facing some hard stuff.
Sure.
And so the
Yeah.
more that we can tell them a unified message of hope,
Mhm.
and a unified message of, hey, we're in this together and we love you and we see you and we believe in you is so significant. So don't discount that.
Yes.
And know whatever you can give of yourself to a young person, and even just to your neighbor in general is incredibly important. So
Great. Thank you.
yeah,
Thanks for being here, Bailey. Appreciate that very much. And again, if you have an interest in being involved in Youth for Christ, go to that website. Or if not, if you just want to be a part of the We Believe in Youth campaign of some sort, even if it's just a kind of on the outskirts of the actual campaign, I really want to encourage you to write a couple of handwritten letters to some youth members that you know about, because it could make it could and probably will make a tremendous difference in their lives. So.
Yeah, and I will say we have Monday nights when we do our program night, we actually are doing a whole We Believe in Youth Club. And so this is a whole night where we're just going to tell young people what we see in them.
I gotcha.
And so they'll receive a little gift to take home too.
Cool.
And so, yeah, if your young person is interested and needs something like that, we would encourage you to send them our way.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you, Bailey. Appreciate you coming.
thanks.
Absolutely. Okay. So, thank you. Appreciate
Thanks.
that, and we'll see you. I think in December for our steering committee meeting, right?
Great.
So we're going to go ahead and go into project updates. Of course, there are lots of things happening, and we're trying to kind of get everything buttoned up for the end of the year. So the first thing I'll talk about, as I just mentioned, was the comprehensive plan there. And so we are at the point where we're working on recommendations for the comprehensive plan. So as you may know, of course, we hire a firm. They kind of come in. They looked at our former comprehensive plan, which we've accomplished. I don't remember 60% I think of those items. Some items we didn't accomplish because they just ended up not being something that either the community wanted or something that we could accomplish, or something to that effect. But then we also we also have some that just didn't happen, and so every 10 years, it's really kind of a good rule, if you will, to take a look at your comprehensive plan and do an update on those. And so that's what we're doing right now. You may remember this summer there was a lot of public input that we had, from a survey to being here at, I'll get there, First Friday event and things to that effect. So we are working on that comprehensive plan and the recommendations. The steering committee meets in December and that's just a kind of a conglomeration of residents and city officials and business representatives, and just trying to get a good picture overall of our just individuals within our community, so we have a good representation across the board. So let's see, Susie asked, I missed her name. Her name is Bailey Glass, Bailee Glass, as in a glass jar. So Bailey Glass with Youth for Christ. So hopefully that answered your question there, Susie. So that's the comprehensive plan. Next up is the dice store cover. We've been talking about it for a while. We've had multiple videos of it now. I think we just put another one up maybe today or last night, I don't remember, regarding the dice store cover. It is it's dice store cover and digester refurbishment. So the dice store cover was, I think it was like 12 years old, something like that, maybe 14 years old. It was about 2 years past its expected life, so we kind of milked every year out of that and every day or month that we could. But that dice store cover replacement is almost completed. In fact, as I'm saying this right now, they may be putting the cover on right now. I'm not sure. The wind had to be perfect or had to be below a certain amount. As I'm looking out the window, it looks like there's some breeze in the flags, so I'm not sure if they'll do it today or not. Nevertheless, we are almost there. So the dice store cover is the bubble cap, if you will, that sits over the digester, and it captures methane and converts it to fuel to heat our digester. The digester processes the kind of solid waste that goes to that's at the wastewater treatment plant. The digester was, obviously, when we took the digester cover off, it was cleaned and it was lined with a very hot pink, I don't know why, but very hot pink lining, and interior liner, and now they have the membrane and the digester cover to basically put together. They're planning to just put it on either today or tomorrow, again, depending on the wind. It may be going on right now. So I will tell you, this project costs over $1 million. So it's, again, it's something we have to do as part of the process, or part of the processing of our wastewater. But this is just another example of, again, just like you got to make sure you maintain your furnace or your car or things like that, we have to maintain our digester or our wastewater processes. So again, there's $1 million that went into that project. So if you've been on the south side of the city, you may have noticed during certain times that there was maybe a bit of a smell. Again, that was because the cap was off of the digester. However, we did adjust our processes a little bit so to tamp down on that smell, if you will. Actually, when I've been over in that area, every once in a while there's a little bit, but I haven't noticed much. So, but if you have noticed a smell in that area, then you'll be happy to know that once that digester cover goes on top, that digester cover goes on, then there should be a significant reduction, if not elimination, of the smell. Obviously, wastewater plant, you still have processes that are outside, but that's kind of where we're at. So again, any questions you have, please put them in the chat if you're on Facebook. Appreciate that. Blue River Trail South. Really, as we talked about the last time, the really only substantial thing left to be completed is the railroad crossing. I talked to my community development director last night. The contractor hopes that should be done by the end of the year. There is still coordination happening between the railroad and the contractor. So that could be a little bit of the hang up, but ultimately you can use the trail now. It's perfectly open and fine, but for the grant regulations and state regulations, we do have to finish that crossing, the railroad crossing there. So that's really the only thing left in the Blue River Trail South project. There may be some slight paint work, but generally that's the big thing. Former Whitley County Jail. I did see some of the memes. I understand. I do want to remind everybody a couple of things. Number one, the county built the jail, not the city. The county gave the jail to the city. We did not buy it. The only thing we've really paid on outside of a few minor maintenance issues of that building has been the outside lighting. The utilities have been taken care of, have been paid for by the county because that's probation is still in that building, so they're still utilizing that. So in lieu of rent, they're just paying the utility bills. We really don't have much money in it, just to be very candid with you. I know we got some flack on social media about that, but frankly, we had looked at a plan for the former jail to renovate it, and I talked about this in multiple meetings, but we looked at a plan of action potentially to put in to move our police station there, to do entrepreneurship space, and then to put in an indoor playground for our students or for our kids during those winter months especially. And because of all of the maintenance and upkeep, because of all the refurbishment and things that would have to happen in that building, the original number I think came out at $9 million and then got back to like $7-ish million full in. And so we said, no, we can't do that. We especially cannot do that because of the changes with Senate Enrolled Act 1 and some of the tax implications that have happened with that and the lack of sustainable revenue going into the future. I won't get too far into that, but that was some among many other reasons why we chose not to move forward with that jail project. So what are we doing? Well, as mentioned, we are, which just as a side note, I'm going to get myself in trouble here, but just as a side note, I know that there was an article by Ink Free News that was put out regarding the jail and regarding our request for proposals and that kind of stuff. They never once reached out for a comment or a question or to talk about it. So as always, if you happen to be the media and you have a question regarding a project we're doing and you want to know some facts about it, I'm happy to answer those questions. Police are going somewhere right now. I'm happy to answer those questions. So I'm always open, and I know that the Post and Mail we had a little issue with Post and Mail. They came back and have cleared up some things, and they've done a couple of stories where they interviewed me, and I gave them some good facts and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm always open if you're the media. I'm trying not to be on a high horse here a little bit, but I'm pretty accessible. I'm pretty able to answer questions and stuff, as I always have been. But nevertheless, we are doing a request for proposal for that jail, and the Redevelopment Commission is leading that. This is within the downtown TIF district, the redevelopment district, if you will, of downtown Columbia City. And so the Redevelopment Commission is leading that charge for a request for proposal. The goal of that RFP is to either get a private investment or a public and private investment that will be beneficial to downtown. We think it's really critical, and by the way, the county officials as well think it's really critical that building be utilized in an appropriate way, that it's not just given or sold off to the lowest bidder, if you will, but instead that it's used as a good community amenity in some way, shape, or form. That could be housing, that could be economic development, it could be a community amenity of some sort. I'm not sure exactly what it will be, but we anticipate those those proposals will come back, I'm guessing end of January, maybe early February. I'm hoping that those things will be going out here shortly. Redevelopment Commission gave the green light on Tuesday to send out those RFPs, so we'll be doing that very shortly. But I just say that to say, again, we're trying to be creative in the reuse of that building that adds to downtown. The last thing we want it to do is to be either given or sold to somebody who's going to let it sit here and rot in our downtown. So we want to have a little bit of control and authority over where that building will go into the future, which is the whole reason, by the way, that we acquired the building, if you will, that we were given the building, because we want to make sure that it's the right thing for our downtown. We're really, really conscious about what's happening in downtown. I've said from the beginning, I will say forever, that downtown is the heart of Columbia City, and we want to make sure that the heart is beating, and that not only is it beating, but it's something that's attractive. It's a place that people feel welcome to come to, that individuals will enjoy coming to. And so that's kind of the goal and the purpose behind why we're so active and engaged in our downtown. So I will get off the soapbox on that one. Next up is Eagle Park. And Eagle Park, as you well know, is, as I talked about earlier, we're working toward an amphitheater. The amphitheater, I think we put out the information on our city's Facebook page, I believe, last week. Nope, try again. A couple weeks ago, after the previous lunch with the mayor, I believe. And we also talked about it with the city council. They approved our community development department to move forward with a BOT, which is a build, operate, transfer. As I mentioned during that meeting, I'm going to get a little bit logistic here, but I will tell you, historically, we have done a design, bid, build process for financial reasons, if you will. So we go to a firm, we hire a firm to design whatever we want them to design. They design it. Then we come back, we bid that project out. Companies bid on the project. The lowest responsive bidder gets the project. And then typically they get into the construction and go, oh, what the engineer planned for this won't work. And so therefore we need to go and get a change order. Those change orders end up being on our dime or your dime. And so it creates tension, and it creates higher costs and things to that effect. So what I have learned from other communities in our area is about the BOT process, which is, again, build, operate, transfer, which basically means we go and we seek firms. We seek out a request for proposal and qualification, so an RFPQ, and we request that firms who basically can do the whole project for us, if you will turn in those qualifications and tell us kind of what they want to do, and then we work with them and negotiate to a price on their administration of those projects. Now, if I were John Q. Citizen, I would be asking, wait a minute, you're telling me that we're going to go bid out something, we're going to go give a project to somebody, and they're going to run the whole thing, and so we're going to have to pay a middleman? And the answer to that is sort of yes, but. And so here's the reason why there's a but. The reason is that when you have a build, operate, transfer, yes, you're hiring somebody to run the project from start to finish. The but is that, number one, there is absolutely no change orders. So we won't get halfway through the project and they go, oh, hey, we got to change this. City, you got to cough up more money. Okay? Second is that there's a guaranteed maximum price that comes out of that. So before we pull the trigger on building an amphitheater, there will be a guaranteed maximum price that we both will agree on that says we cannot go over this number. If we go over this number, the firm that is managing this project has to eat that cost, because we've already agreed on what their cost is going to be and what the overall price is going to be. So anything over that, the firm has to eat that cost. And here's the really kind of cool thing about, well, a couple of cool things. Number one is by this BOT process, we now are able to say if there's savings, which there's benefit to both firms, if there's saving, both the firm and the city. If there's savings in the project, we actually split those savings. So we end up saving money and they end up saving money. We can also designate, which we will, we want to use local. We want to use local contractors. We want to make sure that things are happening locally so that we're not going and getting firms, no offense, but we're not getting, an electrician from Fort Wayne. We're not going to get a plumber from South Bend. We're not going to get a land moving company from Indianapolis, right? So like the point of me saying all that is that we can keep those dollars local, so those local taxpayers, their dollars are being reinvested in the community, which I think is a really positive thing. The last real benefit of this BOT process, and again, this is all new to us, so we may have some bumps in the road, but ultimately I've heard from multiple other mayors in Northeast Indiana that have told me how beneficial this process has been, how it saved them money, how it saved them time, how they didn't have any change orders, all those kind of things. So the last really benefit of the BOT process, for me, is that it can speed up the time frame. So when we do design bid build, we go to a firm and we say, okay, I want you to design this, okay? And then they work on it and design it, and then they come back. And then we say, oh, that's good, that's bad, whatever. Then we go back and they fix it, and then they come back and we go back and forth. And then, okay, now we want to go out for bid. Well, now there's a longer period of time, and then we get bids back. And then once bids come in, we negotiate or whatever, and then we award a bid. And then there's a time frame. And then there's some construction, right? With BOT, it speeds up a lot of that process because you have one point of contact, right? Now, I want to make sure it's clear, we actually will be directing the process throughout the whole thing. So we're going to be directing pieces. We're going to make sure they have a very clear understanding of what it is we're wanting as a community, what it is we want to do, how we want to address issues, things to that effect, okay? So this isn't going to be we give the project, they run with it, and then they throw us the keys at the end. This is a very kind of intertwined process. But from a financing standpoint, they also are able to help us finance this project as well. So I just say all that to say the BOT process will speed up the time frame, will allow us to be more flexible and nimble along the process, should save us money, and should also allow us to use as much local as possible. So I'm really excited about it. Again, we're still looking at the summer of 2027 as being the time frame in which our amphitheater would open up. Obviously, we'd like to have a really great opening act, and so we've already started working on that. There's a lot of really cool things happening there, but that is the best update I have on the amphitheater as of right now. Again, those BOT responses should be coming in. Not again, because I didn't say it. Those BOT responses should be coming in. I think they're due the Wednesday of Thanksgiving week, so the day before Thanksgiving, I think is when they're due. So if there's contractors out there that happen to work in the BOT realm and you would like to have an RFP or get our RFPQ information, you can contact our community development, or you can just call our main office here, 260-248-5111, and we can get you to the right place. Okay. Any questions? Feel free to shoot them on the Facebook there. The water well repair. The well is now completed. The repair is complete. Thank you for your patience. I will mention, as I've mentioned before, while the well was a source of some of the discoloration, other factors were found to be a part of the issue, which would be the mineral buildup in the pipes. That obviously, when you have inconsistent pressures, that's why, by the way, when we do hydrant flushes, you may see some brownish water. That's because the inconsistent pressure has knocked some of those minerals that have built up in the pipes over the years loose. And so that's why you may, while we've been, I know we were flushing hydrants out at Eagle Glen, and there were some brown water issues there during that time period. Some things like that. Obviously, we have hard water, which means we have minerals, just like anybody that has a, I'll get there. Anybody that has their own personal private well out in the county, you also probably know about those minerals. So I just say all that to say that is a part of the process where those minerals, we try to filter out as much of that as we can, but there are still minerals in the water, and those minerals build up in the pipes, and then when there's inconsistent pressures, those minerals break loose and create the discoloration. So last thing I'll also say about the water, two last things I'll say. First is the drought conditions have not helped. Obviously, now that we've had some snow, we've had some rain, the drought has lightened up a little bit, but previously when we were getting a lot of those discoloration things, if you noticed, Cherubusco was having some issues. Some of the other communities in our area in Northeast Indiana were having some issues as well. And so I think because of the drought, the water level, the water table was down, and so it created a little bit more of that discoloration as well. But I just say all that to say, again, as a reminder, our water is tested daily. It does meet state standards. It is safe to drink. Certainly, we try our best to provide the best type of clean water for everybody. Each and every day, our water department works really, really hard to make sure that we have clean, safe, reliable drinking water. And so, while I apologize that there's been times of discoloration, I've said from the beginning and will continue to say it is safe to drink. So, if you have any questions, though, feel free to call our city utility office, 260-248-5100. They can answer questions for you, and if not, they can definitely get you connected to the water department directly. So, okay, some miscellaneous items before we go to the calendar here. Leaf pickup is ongoing right now, as you probably know. We're in that weird season where sometimes we're picking up leaves and sometimes we're plowing snow. But leaf pickup is ongoing. It will continue through basically the first week of December. So, first week of December is scheduled to be the last leaf pickup. If the leaves hang on for a little bit longer, we may extend that. We may not. It just kind of depends. But I will tell you that officially speaking, right now, the first week of December is the last pickup on the schedule. Okay. Snow plowing reminders. I can't believe we're here already, but since Monday we had snow, Sunday we had snow, Monday we had snow, Tuesday we had a little snow. Couple of reminders for snow plowing. City streets are plowed first. We only plow alleys typically when there's 3 inches or greater of snowfall. We do not salt alleys because the salt actually breaks up the alley base. So we will typically salt and sand, depending on the scenario, the intersections or coming up to an intersection. We are sort of in the process of getting to a point where we're going to transfer to all salt and not use any sand. The sand builds up in our catch basins and creates stormwater issues. So we are kind of transitioning a little bit over to all salt instead of a sand salt mixture. Please do not push or blow your snow back into the street. Again, our job is to make sure we clear the streets so that they are traversable, if that's a word, so they can be traveled, so that they are safe to travel. And so when you blow your snow back into the streets or push your snow back into the streets, that is a major traffic problem. Okay, it's actually, I think, officially illegal. Now, I know what you're going to say because people say it every year. Well, you push that snow back into my driveway, I'm going to push it back into your street. Okay, I get that sentiment. However, I need to tell you that there's no way that we could plow differently to keep snow off of your driveway. Please just help us to be a good community member by not pushing your snow or blowing your snow back into the streets. I know that's frustrating. Trust me, there's been times I've gone out and plowed my driveway, and all of a sudden I'd look out and the street department's already came through and pushed the snow back into my driveway, and I have to go out and plow it again. I understand that's frustrating, okay? Understand that our job is first and foremost to keep the streets clear. So please help us do that. I know it's a pain. I know that, okay? But thank you for that. Also, if you see that a big snowfall is coming, we do ask that you move your car into driveways if possible. If you have a driveway that is typically empty and you like to park on the street, but we have a big snowfall coming, we ask that you park in your driveway so we can plow curb to curb. Okay, I can't tell you how many times we've had to do the bob and weave during really, really big snow events because cars are parked on the street but not in the driveway. And so that really would help us tremendously, if you can help us with that. I think that's all. Like I said, we do plow alleys typically on a 3-inch or greater snowfall. It just kind of depends on the scenario. Most of the time, like I said, most of the time we're out there plowing alleys. Sometimes if it's smaller than that, but it's slippery, sometimes we will put some sand down to give some traction, things to that effect. But that is your snow plowing reminders as of this point. Also, if you can be a good neighbor and plow your sidewalk, that would be very very appreciated by us, as well as your neighbors or those kids that have to walk to the bus stop. If you are an individual that has a snow plow or like a little push plow or something, and you can do your neighborhood for your neighbors, that is a great way to show hospitality and caring about your neighbors or for your neighbors. So I would encourage that as well. I'm not just saying that, I have done that myself. So Santa house hours are now posted. I think I shared that on my Facebook page today. So Santa house is not downtown yet, but will be coming downtown very soon. So those hours will be starting here very shortly. Those hours are now posted. I think it's like Santa's House in Columbia City or something like that on Facebook. Just go to my Facebook page and you can find the link there. The Columbia City Christmas Lighting Contest is going to be happening again like it has every other year. The judging will probably occur the weekend after Thanksgiving, so if you want to be a part of that Christmas light judging, Christmas light contest, please have your lights up, preferably before Thanksgiving, but after Thanksgiving, that weekend after Thanksgiving would be really beneficial to make sure that you are considered. City Councilwoman Jennifer Romano is again in charge of that. So if you have an address on your street, or you want her to even take a look at your street address or your Christmas decorations, please feel free to send her a email, or you can send an email to mine. That's fine, rdaniel@columbiacity.net, or you can send it to info@columbiacity.net. Either way, we can make sure that she goes by and takes a look at those. She has kind of a crew of individuals who look at Christmas lights, and then they collectively make a decision on who's the 5 winners. So we get one winner from each of the 4 city council districts, so Northeast, Northwest, Southwest, Southeast, and then we have an overall winner. So those are the 5 awards. We usually give those awards out typically it's usually the first city council meeting of the year in January, which would be the second Tuesday of the month in January there. So you guys haven't been sending me many questions today, so either we're keeping you well informed, or you just don't want to, just don't have anything you want to ask today, which is perfectly great. A couple of reminders. This is my plea, my normal plea, if you will. Give us a call or send us an email if you have any questions about city services, about what's going on, anything like that. I would much rather you hear directly from the source than to be blasted on social media and then to find out that that information was out there, or we could have easily given it to you. So I would ask that, if you have any questions, give us a call here at City Hall. You can call my office, 260-248-5111, or you can email info@columbiacity.net. You can obviously Facebook message me, if you will, Mayor Ryan L. Daniel on Facebook, or our City of Columbia City, Indiana Facebook page. All of those ways you can get a hold of us, and we'll try to get an answer as promptly as possible. I will tell you, I've mentioned it, I think it's actually on my email or my Facebook messenger, but I do have a lot of travel happening this month. There's a lot of things happening. I've now been, I guess January 1, I'm becoming the president of of AIM, which is Accelerate Indiana Municipalities, which basically means that's the cities and towns group for all of the state of Indiana. I'm very honored to have been voted last month in as the incoming president of that organization. I believe very, very strongly in what AIM does, and I think the organization has allowed us as a city not only to be very aware of what's happening legislatively, but also to be able to make sure that we're fighting for the best quality of life for you all as residents. And so I'm very honored to take that position. Please know my heart and my mind will always be on the city. It's not, I will be traveling a lot for them, but I stay very connected to my assistant, very connected to our clerk treasurer, obviously, social media and all the things. But I say that just to say that there may be a little more of a delay in my response because I'm traveling and because I want to do that in the most safe way possible. So just give me a little bit of grace as we're traveling throughout this month of November. But please know that I'm dedicated to continuing being a good leader for this community. So that's what I will say. As a reminder also, all city meetings are live streamed on YouTube at the page at City of Columbia City, Indiana. So if you go to YouTube and just type up City of Columbia City, Indiana, our page should pop up. Go to the link, go to the, I think it's follow or subscribe. I think it's subscribe. And then you can have that on your subscriptions, if you will, if you have an account on YouTube. If you don't, just look at it and it'll be able to, you'll be able to see all the city meetings. The only meeting that we don't live stream on our YouTube page is this one, Lunch with the Mayor. And we will put up that video next week. So just be aware that is something where it's not live streamed, it's live streamed on Facebook, but we will put the video up here. So, yes, I did get a message from Q. Q, that is on my agenda. I will get to that, and if I've missed something, let me know, okay? Thank you. Last thing I will say, check out the website if you have any questions regarding city services. That is a great wealth of information. So check out our city website, columbiacity.net. Upcoming events. I'm already running behind. So, Columbia City events. On November 16th, there is Skating with Gratitude for Babe. It is a fundraiser. I think it's being hosted by Andy's Car Wash at Happy Valley Skating Rink. That is from 1 to 3 p.m. That is, like I said, a fundraiser. On November 17th, the Columbia City High School is doing a Spell Bowl fundraiser at Culver's from 5 to 8 p.m. On the 19th of November, American Red Cross is doing a blood drive at Peabody Public Library from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The 22nd of November, Yuletide Treasures Bazaar is happening at Columbia City High School. That is in support of the show choirs. And you know, I'm a show choir guy at heart. So Columbia City High School Yuletide Treasures Bazaar on the 22nd of November from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I know there's silent auctions, lots of vendors, all that kind of good stuff. The 27th and 28th of November is the Thanksgiving holiday. City Hall is closed during those dates. Speaking of the 27th, as Q had mentioned, Rotary is hosting the annual Community Thanksgiving Dinner. It is a pickup or home delivery only, so it's not an eat-in. It's a pickup or home delivery. There is a free will donation. You do need to call 260-229-06. Yes, but okay, I'll give you the number that he gave me. So 260-248-8608. Again, 260-248-8608. And if you want to get one of those Thanksgiving dinners, please call ahead. Get on that list. They will be either picking up. You can either pick up or get a home delivery, and I think that's happening 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Thanksgiving. So, if you are interested or in need of a Thanksgiving dinner, that is how you can go about doing that. Rotary has done that for eons now, and so we thank Rotary, Columbia City Rotary, for what they do there. So, Shop Small Business Saturday is the 29th of, I'm sorry, let me back up a moment. I got these out of order. The 28th and the 29th is the Walk of Trees at the Clugston. The 28th is the Whitley County Lighted Christmas Parade at 6 p.m. Of course, it's on Van Buren Street between Walnut and Chauncey, with Santa coming to town. It's always a wonderful event. I know the Whitley County Children's Choir will be there to sing, and it's always a wonderful time. I encourage you to come out, whether it's cold or wet. Although I think if it's raining, the rain date is the next day, is the 29th. But plan on the 28th. Hopefully we'll have really good weather and it'll be good. That is at 6 p.m. The 29th is Shop Small Business Saturday. Again, as I say every year, I want to encourage you, please try to shop local. Our businesses donate to so many different causes that help our community run each and every day, not just our baseball and softball programs, but also our nonprofits each and every day that whether it's Youth for Christ, or whether it's the Elks, or the I'm getting these out of order, but lots of different, Babe and the Mission 25 and all those nonprofits. Elks is not a nonprofit. I'm gonna put them out to the side, but they all provide money for our nonprofits that make our community work. Elks is an organization among Rotary and so many others actually that donate their own dollars to these nonprofits as well. So I just want to encourage you to shop local, please, on that Saturday. Before you go to Amazon, see if you can get it here. These businesses are the ones that are a part of our community. Amazon does not pay money into our community, does not support our local businesses, does not support the baseball and softball teams, or the band's trip to Disney, or the Humane Society, or any of those kind of things, right? Amazon does not help those things. They may give us slightly cheaper prices, okay? But local businesses are the ones, and organizations are the ones that support our non-for-profits. So that'll be my last, at least for right now, that'll be my last soapbox moment. But I do want to encourage you to shop Small Business Saturday. Shop Small Business Saturday on the 29th. Toys for Tots is also doing a Stuff the Truck at the Aquatic Center on that 29th, November 29th, from noon to 5 p.m. So obviously that's new toys or things like that you want to donate to Toys for Tots. Always a great program. The 4th of December is the annual Chamber of Commerce dinner at Eagle Glen at 6 p.m. There is tickets are required for that, so you need to contact the Chamber for that. If you are one of our diehard supporters, if you will, the final lunch with the mayor is scheduled for December 5th. 2025, again, 2025, December 5th, our last lunch with the mayor. Also on the 5th, the Whitley County Historical Museum has an arts marketplace from 3 to 8 p.m. On the 5th and 6th of December is the Christmas at the Courthouse event. That's the live nativity piece around our courthouse square from 6 to 8 p.m. On December 6th, Whitley County 4-H hosts the Season of Wonder Holiday Fair at the 4-H Center, I believe, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Also on the 6th, Menier Real Estate does their annual Santa event that's free to the public, 5 to 7 p.m. And then December 9th is Board of Works and City Council. We do have Board of Works and City Council next. Yeah, it's on the. I've lost it already. I'm sorry. We do have Board of Works and City Council on the 25th. I didn't put that on the agenda, but we do have the Board of Works meeting and the City Council meeting. Board of Works at 5, City Council at 6 on the 25th of November, as well as December 9th here at City Hall. Lastly, there's two more things. Wreaths Across America. That is the event where there is wreaths placed across the cemeteries for our veterans, for our military members who have passed. That is on the 13th of December at 12:30 p.m. at Green Hill Cemetery here. And I would say one other thing that's really important on that, I know that that's a fundraiser that they do in order that they're doing, right? Yeah. So they are fundraising for that Wreaths Across America. They'd love to get your support. Just go ahead and search the Wreaths Across America if you want to support that. A great program. And then finally, it's something for way in the future, although not that long, is the Parks Department advertised that February 6th and 7th will be next year's Father-Daughter Dance at the 4-H Center. Tickets will go on sale January 2nd. I'm going to say it like I always do. Dads, get out your calendar and put on your calendar for January 2nd or January 5th, which is a Monday, I believe, to go to the Parks Department and get your Father-Daughter Dance tickets, okay? Don't be that guy that gets to that weekend and we're all sold out, okay? Don't be that guy. Yep, Community Foundation as well, helping all nonprofit organizations. Community Foundation does an amazing job. They have always been a great, well, it's not always, but since their founding, they've always been a great organization that helps this community in so many ways. So we're thankful for the Community Foundation as well. Yes, that was another one. And then Emergency Management reminds us, don't forget to clear the snow around fire hydrants. That's a good reminder. Fire hydrants, snow can build up around fire hydrants, and then when, God forbid, that there's a fire in your area, then we have to go find those fire hydrants and dig them out before we can hook up the hoses or whatever. So thank you for that reminder. Okay? I think that's all I have on my list. So I'm going to end with this, and that's to say Happy Thanksgiving. Whether you are somebody who travels for Thanksgiving or has people travel to you, or if you're an individual who stays home for Thanksgiving and doesn't join individuals around the table, I just want you to have a very happy Thanksgiving. I want you to know that you are valued, and that as we get into the holiday season, that we appreciate that you have chosen to make Columbia City your home. We appreciate that you have made this your community. We know that you have a lot of that you could travel anywhere in the world, theoretically, and live anywhere you want, and you've chosen Columbia City, and we're really thankful for that. We're really thankful that you're a part of our community, and you are valuable. I will say this, as I tried to say a lot, is that especially during the holiday season, the winter blues, if you will, or even the holiday blues, can have a profound impact on the mental and emotional health of our residents. And so I want to encourage you that you are valuable. And if you are ever feeling things that, that you want to either hurt yourself or worse, please talk to somebody. And we'd love to come around you and support you and make sure that you continue to be a part of our community. So with that, I will just thank you. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Eat lots of turkey. Q says Veterans Day Marathon was great. Thanks to the birds and local law enforcement. Yeah, Gary and Joanne did a great job. Veterans Marathon has been here for a long time now, and I'm always thankful to be a part of that. They do a great job, and we had a wonderful Veterans Marathon this year, and half marathon, and Heroes 5K. So we appreciate all the work that all the Bird family does for that event, and how many people it brought into Columbia City, which is awesome. So thank you. So anyways, long story short is, yes, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Eat lots of turkey. Try to eat some vegetables. I try to do that every time. I'm a big fan. Our family has this tradition of cranberry ice, which is like a cranberry sorbet, and it is the most amazing thing. I'm really looking forward to that. So hint, hint, if any of the Daniel family are out there watching this, know that there's an expectation of cranberry ice this year. So in any case, want to just thank everybody for tuning in. We hope you have a wonderful rest of November. And again, as a reminder, we will be back here on December 5th. So mark your calendars, December 5th. We will see you later. Bye-bye, everybody.